Let us pay attention and analyze the crash that claimed 8 lives in Ghana. Right. The Z-9 helicopter in the Ghana Air Force, especially this particular Z-9 that had an accident claiming 8 lives, is for VIP transportation. It's used to fly the President of Ghana and his ministers of state, and also to fly higher military ranking officials like the generals. Right. The last time this airplane was flown, reports indicate that the last time this airplane was flown was about a month ago, when the President of Ghana was conducting his rounds all over the country with his last flight in Kumasi. Right. It means this airplane has not been flown frequently, and corrosion is likely to accumulate, especially in the rotor system. If the aircraft is not running frequently and is just sitting, then that is not good. Right. Now, reports indicate that this accident happened because the aircraft lost the rotor, the main rotor fall apart, or it came apart. Right. In the helicopter, the most important part of the helicopter is the rotor system. Right. If you lose your main rotor, then you are dead. Even if you lose your engines and you have your rotor still spinning, you can do auto rotation. But since the rotor was lost, there was no way they were going to survive. So that's how the airplane was, busted into flames before actually descending down into the forest. Right. As you can see in the pictures. Now, the Z-9 helicopter is not only be having accidents in Ghana. I remember in the year 2015, there was an emergency landing which involved the President of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama. He was the president then. Him and his wife, they have to make an emergency landing because something was going on. There was supposed to be, mechanical issues. That was what it was. So this airplane is kind of not reliable. It has a bad track record, especially in Africa. Now, in 2022, there was another emergency landing in the year 2020, which involves Ghana's President Nana Akufo-Addo. Also, back in 2019, there was an accident in Cameroon and in Mali. In the year 2014, there was an accident in Cameroon again. In the year 2013, there was an accident in Zambia. And in the year 2011, there was an accident involving this same type of helicopter in Gabon. Right. So this airplane has a track record of, corrosion in the rotor systems, leading to accidents. According to the Pakistan Navy, they also reported that they had the same issues, especially with the rotor system. They have numerous mechanical and operational failures, including the tail rotor blade failures and corrosion in the main rotor blades. And one of the major headaches that comes with the operation of this helicopter is that they also receive substandard Chinese spare parts. As the aircraft is running day in and day out, some parts you have to be replaced in order to operate the aircraft very safely. These parts that were ordered to replace the old broken parts or out of service parts had issues with fractures, and they were substandard, they were not to standard. But the last time this aircraft was flown was about a month ago. 1 month ago. And that is not good. If you are not flying the machine very often, it is likely to accumulate corrosion in the especially in the rotor systems. So what I will advise is that even though you don't have any machine, even though Ghana is not in actively war against, or this particular aircraft is dedicated to fly the president. Even though the president might not be using it every day, even though the ministers of state or the VIP officials may not be using it every day, it is advisable that you just start it up, warm it up, maybe 30 minutes, keep it running, right? Or you can lift it up, do some hover in the area, maybe 30 minutes flight, come back and land. Because what I have seen is most of these aircrafts, for especially the Ghana Air Force, it's always been sitting on the ramp doing nothing. Some of these aircraft are just there with written Ghana Air Force on it, serving as a source of attraction, tourist attraction for the people of Ghana and visitors from other countries, which is not good. Let the machine run. At least you can run it every day. This is what I do. Even if I'm not going to be flying my airplane, even if I am busy, my schedule says I am busy, I still find some time to go to the airport and keep it running. At least even 15 minutes is okay. Keep it running. Observe the engine gauges. Observe, check the system out. Maybe 15-30 minutes. Right. So the issue of corrosion is because the aircraft is not being flown, or they are not using the aircraft as it's supposed to be. Right. Also, the pilot in question, was this pilot current and competent? There are two things here: currency and competence. Maybe they are supposed to keep current every 6 months. So once a while, they will just fly once and they will get their logbook sign off that they are current, that they can fly. That is not good. That is not safe. A current pilot is not a safe pilot, but a current and competent pilot is a safe one. How often are these pilots in the Air Force flying to keep their currency and also being competent? Currency alone is not safe. So I will also advise that these pilots should be flying very often. Even if they are supposed to fly maybe 5 hours or 10 hours a week, maybe 10 hours in Ghana Air Force may be too much. Maybe if they are supposed to fly 4 hours every week, divide it into 4 parts. Maybe they fly 1 hour every day of the week, and they will use maybe Friday or Saturday to conduct safety briefing and all of that. Just keep their aviation blood flowing all the time. That is how you get a safe, current, and competent pilot. Other than that, it's going to be even scary. It's going to be more scary. You see what I'm saying? That is how you keep the pilots flying safely in the air. That's the same issue with the other African countries that have reported issues with this type of crashes over the years. Right. Let us look like countries like Gabon, Cameroon, Zambia, and Mali. The same issues. They have airplanes sitting there. The only time that they are running these airplanes is when the independence celebration is approaching. That is when you will see them trying to, do something with these airplanes, trying to show off that they have air power or something like that. But for the remainder of the year, the aircraft is just sitting on the ramp, which is not good. Also, currency and competency in the maintenance and inspection procedures. That is the most important part in aviation. If the aircraft is going to be able to fly very safe, you can have a safe pilot and a competent pilot. If you don't have a safe and competent current maintenance and inspections procedures, your aircraft sitting on the ramp is just a huge bomb that can explode any day. Maintenance personnel, if they don't know what they are doing, your aircraft can explode. It's just a bomb. So what I would suggest is that there should be an effective maintenance and inspections procedures. Keep it flowing every day. They are in the barracks. They are not doing anything. If they are into aviation, they should always be doing aviation. That is their 24 hours, 7 days a week job. 247 economy of aviation in the military barracks. You see what I'm saying? A loose bolt, fractured hinge bolts, poor lubrication system, improper safety wire standard practices, right? And also leaks. All of this, it is easy for an expert maintenance technician to just fix it before it even happens. Reports indicate that the main rotor came apart, and as a result of that, they started calling Jesus because it was too late. The main rotor has fallen apart, and the aircraft was spinning and spinning and spinning into the woods. That's not good. That's actually a maintenance failure. Some people were attributing it to weather. The pilot has been trained to fly this airplane in the very severe weather, like IFR weather conditions. The pilots have been trained to fly in IFR weather conditions. So that is not a deal here. But for a rotor to fall apart in a flight, the rotor blade spinning above the helicopter to fall apart, that is very serious. That is a maintenance issue. That tells me the aircraft is not being maintained very well. That is not a pilot error. That is not a pilot error. The rotor came apart. That is not a pilot error. So let us pay attention here. Right. So effective programming of the pilots and the maintenance personnel. Competent and current safe pilot. Competent, current. If they are current and they are not competent, that's not good. Competent, current, safe pilot. Competent, current, safe maintenance personnel, maintenance procedures and inspections procedures. Conduct thorough inspection procedures. Make sure that all tools, inspection tools, are also calibrated to standards. Make sure you are checking your torques specifications. For a rotor, main rotor to fall apart, it means somebody was not paying attention to the torque specifications of the hinge bolts in the main rotor systems, and that is very, very scary. Alright, so let us pay attention to details here.